Hello everyone and welcome to Nigeria Diaspora Television. Today we are at the Gardenia Boutique Hotel in Santon, where we're going to broadcast our final show for 2017. Now this year we launched NDTV. We actually started NDTV in April with the first video coming out on the 16th of April. And in that video, many of you will recall that we had an interview with the Consul General of Nigeria to South Africa, His Excellency Godwin Adama. And of course, in that same video, we interviewed a young Nigerian fashion designer by the name of Pamela Ifeneme. We also had to look at the issue of Pastor Tim Omotosho, who had problems with, allegations of human trafficking. And after that, we went on to capture a number of events, ranging from the interview that we had with Ambassador Karega of Rwanda around the diaspora voting which took place in Pretoria.
They take place every 7 years. This is the third time since 2003. Before 2003, Rwanda was on a transitional government due to what occurred to reconstruct, to repatriate, to resettle, to write a constitution and to put up institutions. So only since 2003, we became a full-fledged constitutional democracy.
We also filmed a Lobola festival between a Nigerian gentleman, Ese, and his lovely South African wife.
I don't know what you're gonna call it.
We also navigated various stories that took us also to interview a former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, and we also interviewed Femi Kuti when he came to play in South Africa at the Delicious Festival.
Africa should be every African's dream to make Africa the envy of the world. And we have to understand that we're one. Our cultures and traditions are very similar, a bit different but similar, and we should be thinking about building, not dividing.
Now NDTV also took its first trip to Nigeria, and there we interviewed Nike Okundaye, the owner of Nike Art Gallery. It affected the nation. The Chibok girls, the picture in the back. It's a photo of the Chibok girls, and Madam says that it affected the nation so much. Everybody cried about the missing girls. Everybody cried about the missing girls, the missing Chibok girls. And that's a photograph, the world famous photograph. We also had the opportunity to interview 3 Nigerian businessmen who were members of the Nigeria-South Africa Chamber of Commerce. We also had some footage where I engaged some artisans outside my family home in Ijebu-Ode. Because he goes to the Jalabia. I'm not one be those you want to maintain. Share support. No problem. So we have to change some of these things. And when you see an Oba or a commissioner or a governor or a judge or whatever, and they're not doing anything for the people, it's not going to last. And the people in Nigeria who are suffering, they can't eat well, they can't go to school, kids like this, they have no future. It's not going to work. So we that were coming, we have to come to the people. I don't want to meet any governor, I don't want to meet President Obasanjo, we interview him all the time. I want to meet the real people, but we say protect your vote. And you must make sure you know the policy, so it's education and then health for women and then business support. And we moved around to capture some lifestyle footage at an art exhibition called Art Everywhere in Lekki.
The things are expensive now, but if you look at my work, it's rich in texture. That is to tell you that Nigeria is rich. It's just that some Nigerians think poorly. And in the midst of that, greed and corruption sets in. Because the color you have here with brush can reproduce 20 of this.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. So this is, if you look at my work is characterized by the rationale behind that is that Nigeria is rich. Nigerians, we are also rich in natural resources. We are rich in talent. It's just that some people think
cannibalize.
Yes.
The people.
Yeah. So if we begin to have more people venting their energy positively, we'll turn things around.
The limit.
Yeah.
NDTV has also had the unique distinction of being able to be at the inaugural lecture that was given by Nobel Literature Laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka at the University of Johannesburg.
So, but you sent me. I said, to where? You sent me for Aroda. Oh, you mean you're still on that mission? Shortly after you left, I found it right in the... It's a lesson not to be forgotten. And what we're looking for in Sokoto might be in our Sokoto. Sokoto means pocket. Sokoto is the name of the town. It's another way of this same Aroda story. Which only this afternoon, somebody asked me among the students that I'm a writer. I like to know if I should have some kind of commitment, some central concern, etc., etc. And I responded, if there's nothing wrong with it, but don't make that your central focus. But that student, if you're here, if you're still looking for that commitment, something which can occupy your mind and give that creative impetus to you, this is one of them. Because it is an area, it's a zone which has not been properly addressed and which is ignored at our peril.
We also had an opportunity to conduct a filming of the first ever intervention between Nigerian women and South African women at the University of Johannesburg, which was tagged Bridging the Divide between Nigeria and South Africa.
And so part of seeking self-knowledge then, part of seeking this self-understanding requires of us to dialogue, to hold such conversations as would build ourselves, would build our communities.
I couldn't but resist to draw from the wise word of my late grandfather when he says, I quote, "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we've lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead." I am therefore a woman and I'm African, I'm proud of it. But there are a number of challenges that as African women we face. And it's an honor to be here today. They usually say, when you train a girl, you've trained a nation. And most especially, Nigeria as a country and South Africa as a country, we are the two powerful countries in Africa. And if both of us are not collaborating, then we will have problem in Africa, and then other African women that are looking up to living a good life will have a whole lot of challenges.
My name is Nonya. It's an Igbo Nigerian name. My middle name is Umpo. It's a South African Sutu name. My mother is Sutu. And I'm married to a Nigerian, so my surname is Amotola. So I'm actually a living proof that there is collaboration between Nigerian and South African, whether it's real or I'm here with my sisters here to talk about what it is to be an African woman first and foremost, and how our role is so important on the continent.
Now, on the entertainment front, we also looked at Nigerians who are doing great things in the film noir genre, and we had an opportunity to interview Akia Motosho, who is a respected filmmaker winning tons of awards for his craft. Also, we interviewed Miss Africa Continent, a lady from Guinea. We also had an opportunity to interview Idols contestant Tapelo Iso, who actually got 9th position. We also have done a series of interventions around the Holocaust Museum, around the Johannesburg Zoo, where we had footage of the major genocidal acts of the Second World War in places like Auschwitz and Kabenu, and also the Rwandan genocide. In fact, we interviewed a gentleman from Rwanda who was actually a victim of the Rwandan genocide.
What we are watching here is the consequences of hatred. When you hate, that's what's going to happen. You are talking about the hatred of or targeting groups like in South Africa.
Yes,
like
Nigerians are heavily targeted by the media.
Drug
Yes.
dealers, Nigerians,
human trafficking, prostitution,
if they are attacked,
fraud, drugs.
If they are attacked, no one cares because of the Nigerian. This is
a Nigerian is killed, it doesn't matter. It's a Nigerian.
These are serious lessons, showing people, telling people that at a certain stage,
prejudice and hatred.
Prejudice and at a certain stage, what's going to happen?
And envy.
Yeah, envy, yes. What's going to happen at a certain stage is that the serious atrocities going to happen.
Atrocities can happen. Like genocide.
Will happen if people want to stop this kind of prejudice.
NDTV also was able to capture some historical footage where we were observing Youth Day on June 16 in Soweto, and we followed Ambassador Pulukani to his old school, his former high school, the Orlando West High School, where he was on the fateful day when the riots started, the student riots started in Soweto. We also had an opportunity to cover the event in October, on 10th of October, Nigerian Lives Matter at the Constitution Hill. And a few days after that, I believe 4 days after that, we were in Pretoria to cover the Excellence Award, the Nigerian Excellence Award, which was put together by the Voice newspaper. And that was a very fantastic event in Pretoria. Nigeria Diaspora Television also had an opportunity to interview a powerful Nigerian businesswoman, Ife Adeleke, who produces her own range of products, Moringa products. The company is actually called Plush Organics. And subsequent to that, we interviewed Chris Bishop, who wrote a book, Chris Bishop, the MD of Forbes Africa, who wrote a book about Africa's billionaires. And in that book, there are 3 Nigerians in the book. And one of them, of course, is Aliko Dangote, and another being Pascal Dozier, who is the chairman of MTN Nigeria and the founder of Diamond Bank. Nigeria Diaspora Television also had the unique opportunity to exclusively cover the Ambassadors Forum at the Gordon Institute of Business Science, popularly known as GIBS, in Ilovo, Santin. And the theme was to really look at how one could do business in Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, and Tanzania. And we had the opportunity to interview the Deputy High Commissioner of Uganda and the Deputy High Commissioner of Tanzania, who preferred to be called Mama Rose.
Tanzania is a very beautiful country, first to start with, and it's a country which is bordered by 8 other countries, naming Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, Zambia, Mozambique and Malawi. So if you come and invest in the first place in Tanzania, you'll have access to all these countries, 8 countries, neighboring countries. Tanzania is also a member of East African Community, but also a member of SADC. So altogether, you're looking at a market space of that area.
Mining is very big. In Uganda, mining is still virgin. Minerals are there right from gold to what, name it. So if they came into this area, I'm sure they'll find business, because so far in mining we just have the small artisanal miners in all the areas. So if they came, there's surely business. The second one I'll go for is value addition. Value addition on any product you can think of, be it tomatoes, be it pineapples, be it mangoes, be it apples. By the way, southern Uganda, we have a temperate climate where they also grow some apples. So in these areas, there's a lot to do. If you come into value addition, there's business, because the products are there, they're not being touched. If you told, as you told me to pick 2, I'll pick those ones.
We had an opportunity to get footage from our executive producer, Honorable Ekos Akpokabayan, who traveled to the PDP convention in Nigeria via Addis Ababa. On arrival in Abuja, he was able to gain access to the Wadata Plaza, where he sent us footage and asked relevant questions about the contests for the position of chairman and all other positions. He also attended the convention and brought lots of footage around the convention with key members of PDP, and subsequently he had the opportunity to meet with the chairman and other members of the National Working Committee. It is important, given that we are part of Africa, to talk about the recent events that has happened in South Africa. So every 5 years, the African National Congress, which is the ruling party in South Africa, holds its conference. It's a 5-year, every 5 years it happens. Now that conference is called an elective conference. That is where the top 6, which is the chairman, the deputy president, the president of the party, the treasurer, the secretary, and the deputy secretary are elected. Subsequent to that, you have 80 members of the National Executive Committee, the NEC, will also be elected. And that has been done. And the winner of the presidency is a gentleman by the name of, he's actually the deputy president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. He defeated Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, the former AU chair, and he got 2,440 votes, and she got 2,160 something votes. And visiting South Africa today is President Emmerson Mnangagwa of Zimbabwe. We all remember what happened in November when former President Robert Mugabe, after 37 years in office, was kicked out of office by the military, and President Mnangagwa was sworn in a few days after. And what President Mnangagwa has come to do is to visit President Zuma and look at ways how, because they're neighbors, South Africa is a powerful economic neighbor, they're looking at ways that they can find value, economic value, either in terms of the currency, because at the moment Zimbabwe does not have its own currency. The Zim dollar has been wiped off the map. They're now using euros and yuan and dollar and the rand. So I suspect that they probably want to harmonize and see how they can use the rand. That's just speculation, but that's what we've heard. In the coming weeks and months, and given that we're in the festive season now, what we're going to be concerned with as Nigeria Diaspora Television is bringing our viewers entertaining news about Nigerians' activities in South Africa, as well as other parts of diaspora. But over and above that, we welcome you to watch all the video footage, more than 30 videos that we already have on YouTube. And some of those videos will give you an insight into what Nigerians in South Africa get up to. And I can assure you, it is very exciting video to watch over the holidays. But what we'll also do in 2018 is that we're going to go back to Nigeria again to visit Nigeria and other parts of the country especially Abuja and places like Port Harcourt, which many of our viewers would love to know more about. In fact, what is interesting is that I had a meeting with a South African who was talking about the state of the Port Harcourt airport. So we would like to also go and cover that and see whether what they allege is in fact true. So that is where we will be focusing our energies in 2018. And also we're going to be looking at the political landscape of Nigeria as we move closer to the business end of the current administration. We're going to be looking at governors that have performed well, senators that have performed well, and those who haven't, and we're going to be naming and shaming those who haven't, because our democracy belongs to all of us. Until next time, don't forget to watch all our videos, but also, above all, please do subscribe to Nigeria Diaspora Television. And from me, Adetunji Omotola, it is Kashifo, Odabo, and Segobe. Happy New Year.